The Formula One world and VFL are saddened to announce that Alex Zanardi lost his life. Passed away the other night. Making his debut in 1991 in the legendary, iconic Jordan 191. He went on to score a point in his sixth race for what I think it was Lotus. Forgive me, my mind's all over the place. It's a bit of sad news. He became kart champion, and then in 2001, unfortunately, was involved in an accident where he lost both of his legs. Following on from that, only 2 years after that accident, he took part in the European Touring Car Championship in a specially developed car with BMW. Over the 2012 and 2016 Paralympic Games, he scored 4 golds and 2 silvers as a cyclist for Italy, before returning to Daytona to take part in the 24-hour race in 2019, again with a customised BMW. It is so sad news. Such a hero, such a great person who clearly, took on the world and everything that was thrown at him with such grace, and just a hero, really. So thoughts and wishes with everyone, impacted by the sad news.
Yes, welcome to VFL. It does seem a little bit kind of weird to do a podcast based on a race when and Phil summed up some of the career highlights there for Alex Zanardi just in the intro, but I don't think it really hits home. It's mental to think he continued racing just 2 years after having an accident that caused both of his legs to be amputated. And then just carried on as if genuinely he might not be very well known in the Formula One world, just purely because it wasn't exactly the most decorated Formula One career. But what an absolute inspiration, a hero, genuinely a hero, and it is so sad to obviously. So thoughts and wishes with Alex Zanardi's family, and it's such a shame,
especially on a weekend that's marred with such sadness anyway around this time. With obviously what happened in Imola in '94.
So horrible news to start the Formula One weekend. But however, let's try and pick it up a little bit. Let's do our best. So Formula One came back. Yay!
To Miami.
Boo! Although that being said, I actually don't think it wasn't bad. Sorry, I do think it wasn't bad. I've just double negative myself. I'm confused. I'm tricking myself up. I don't think it was that bad is what I'm trying to say. I think we kind of had moments. Obviously, I enjoyed sprint qualifying and the sprint, although the sprint was a cracking start from both McLarens. And then it just there was a good fight between Verstappen and Hamilton, which was quite interesting.
Yeah.
But it did kind of fall into a little bit of a procession, didn't it? And we've actually seen the sprints have actually picked up a little bit this year. So it was a little bit of a surprise. Well, maybe not a surprise, Miami, but it was a little bit of a disappointment to see that this sprint wasn't exactly anything to write home about. So we'll brush over sprint qualifying because it was okay. I was, of course, happy with the result, but as a spectacle, it wasn't fun. We'll brush over the sprint because minus the Hamilton-Verstappen fight, it wasn't great. It was what it was. And then we came obviously to Sunday to the race. It's thrown everything up into the ether because we didn't know what time the race would start. We started the week not even thinking the race was going to go ahead, even though we had the sprint in qualifying. Then we found out overnight that it was going to be started 3 hours early, which meant I've absolutely flown back from Old Trafford to get to watch it in time. And yes, well done. Yes. Sorry, different sport. And eventually, anyway, so we got the race, and the start was madness.
Was madness. I mean, let's be honest. It was a great start. All 3 cars that were alongside each other into the first turn was phenomenal, especially the fact that Leclerc was the only one, of course, who realised where you had to brake for that corner.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's there's a great image, and I'll put it on. Hopefully, it's there now. There's a great image of, I think it's Leclerc in the middle of Antonelli and Verstappen, and those two have the lockup is just insane, and Leclerc's almost as if he's going, where are you two going? Like the corner's there.
Have I braked too early?
Yeah. It was as if it must have crossed his mind for a brief second. Have I done something wrong? Because even though you haven't, the fact that the other cars around you have done something completely different, and how Max Verstappen didn't collect anybody with that spin is beyond me.
That's skill. That's skill. And by the way, and from that moment, Max Verstappen thought, I'm going to be the world's biggest nuisance today.
He was Fernando Alonso levels of nuisance, wasn't he? Like it was class that from Verstappen. It's weird actually. Is he already at the sort of like Alonso, previous world champion that may not? I'm not saying Verstappen will never win another world title, but he certainly doesn't look like he's going to this year. So is he just doing the whole? I'm just going to be a pain in everyone's backside this season just because it'll be fun.
I think what it is Red Bull have brought a lot of upgrades. A lot of teams have, of course. Mercedes being the ones who haven't, and it's hit them. Don't get me wrong, I know we won. We'll move on to that in a bit. But Red Bull have brought upgrades that have made Max comfortable. Now, the car's not the fastest still, but he now can fight. And he showed everyone just how late he can brake. In every corner he went into with someone alongside him.
And I know, and again, I don't want to sound like a broken record because we've said this a million times. It isn't the pinnacle of motorsport anymore. It's kind of fabricated in as much as you overtake one. But there was Russell v Verstappen, there was Norris v Antonelli at points. Leclerc was involved with Russell, and then and we saw it again with Piastri and what have you. Like, it's making it exciting. Although the one thing actually, as we're kind of getting more and more used to the regulations, I find myself. Similar to football, like you don't celebrate a goal because they've got to look at it with VAR and whatever. I sort of don't celebrate an overtake at the minute because you kind of have to celebrate 3 or 4 corners after the overtake because that's when it's done. Do you get what I
mean? Yeah, I do. Because there was a couple of moments where Leclerc is almost... I mean, don't get me wrong, I was picking up on it more because it was a Ferrari, and of course you watch your team, don't you? But Leclerc's letting people through on the last corner. And then by turn 1, It just driven past them again and drove off. It did it to a few drivers, and it happened a lot. Norris, his engineer, actually clocked it very early and said, "Do not use it coming out of the last corner. Hold ground, use it after turn 8." And that's how he was successful against Leclerc and against Antonelli. At the start of the race was. Don't do it where everyone else is doing. Everyone else was using the same boost at the same time, and it was getting very predictable. After that, it got a bit dull. I mean, you look at the line of mistakes. Verstappen gave us all the entertainment in the world at the start. As soon as he decided that he was going to pit and rip half his front wing off during the safety car, you knew that it was kind of ultimate Max Verstappen kind of, I'm coming through or are we going to crash? It's your choice. But after the safety car, it balanced off a bit. Leclerc's tyres obviously killed themselves way before everyone else's. Ferrari.
Ferrari have got a problem with saving tyres, haven't they? A real problem.
Yeah, and that's a shame because I actually think the car is now fast enough to race anybody. It's not as slow in a straight line as it was against the Mercedes originally. It actually looked like if the race was only 5 laps long, we'd be winning. And it is becoming Mario Kart, and they use about 3 laps. So
the field has done this, hasn't it? Though this is what we wanted. I know Mercedes, like you said, Mercedes have got upgrades coming supposedly in Montreal. I know McLaren have got a couple of other bits that's coming in Montreal. We don't think it's going to be anything substantial, but there's a couple of bits. So there's a chance Mercedes will pull away again. I have 2 questions and I have 2 things I want to pick up, and they kind of summarise the entire race. So that will probably be the nature of the episode, unless if anything. First, before I start, glad to see that Pierre Gasly is okay as well, because that looked another bit of evidence that the halo is incredibly important. So yeah, fair play. Well done to Pierre Gasly for getting away from that, because it did look a bit nasty when you watch that replay back. That wasn't nice. Okay, do you want me to start on a topic, or do you want me to ask you a question? I have two of each, so we can flip this.
Let's go with the question first.
All right, so one of my questions is to you, are you okay?
Yeah, no, I am, because there's a little thing that we brought up, about how the next upgrades that are available are based on engines. Okay, and that's active from after round 6. Now,
yeah,
the way Ferrari keep pushing it is that Canada's round 6. No? Well, it was, because we've had 2 cancelled. So, yeah.
But it isn't.
And it is, though, because
it would be either 5 or 7. It wouldn't be 6 anyway.
All right, then it's 7. So post this race, then Ferrari, because it isn't the most powerful engine, are now allowed to develop that.
Right.
So
are you just making up your own rules?
No, this is a genuine rule. After every 6 races this year, they're allowed. The engines aren't good.
What's the point?
We have. Just because 2 of them didn't take place, they were in the calendar, right? Blame Trump. Don't blame me. Blame Trump.
What happened with Leclerc at the end?
Same thing as happened with Verstappen at the start. I think just lost it. Did very well to actually get it round the track, considering he clattered the wall.
I was surprised actually, because obviously when they showed it on TV, I thought he was out, and then saw him carry on going, and I thought, oh no, he's managed to keep it, and then he really couldn't take a corner, and then obviously you saw again that he'd clattered the wall.
He'll get disqualified because he didn't go around any corners in the last lap. But...
And if you add that on top of the fact that Hamilton just looked like he'd gone for a Sunday jaunt.
Well, Colapinto ripped all the left side of his car off in the first lap, didn't he?
Oh, yes, he did. Sorry.
So he's down on downforce. So I'm okay. We have these races where things don't go to plan. We still started every race this year, so we won up on something. So no, I'm all right. It was entertaining. I'm all right. I didn't.
Don't worry, because my second question will cheer you up. So I won't go into that just yet, because I think you already know what it is. I want to pick up on one of my two points, and one of them is, can we just have a bit of credit for Kimi Antonelli? Yeah, we'll do Kimi Antonelli first. The stats behind this victory are actually quite astounding. He is only the third driver in Formula One history to get 3 pole positions in a row off the back of getting his first. Do you know the other 2? Did you hear this stat?
Yes, I do. Pole positions were Senna and Schumacher.
That's mental. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sometimes a little bit against stats like this, because what does that stat tell you? He's got 3 poles in a row, and it's when he got his first. So does it? But it's still incredible company to be with.
The next stat's better, I think.
And he is the first to convert all 3 of those podiums into wins.
Poles into wins.
But sorry, I keep saying podiums, don't I? Sorry, he's the first to convert all 3 poles. I've done it again. Poles into wins. Yes, sorry, I'm getting confused with what's what in Formula One. It's because it's been so long. I forgot the rules.
It felt really weird sitting down watching a race tonight.
It did, to be fair. So I mean, Kimi Antonelli. You can talk what you want about the fact that the Mercedes is leaps and bounds above everything else at the moment. Maybe not even leaps and bounds. But exactly that, and that's the difference. So let's just a moment genuinely of appreciation for Kimi Antonelli, because it's all well and good. You can put a driver in the best car and say that they're quick in it, and it's unfair to Hamilton to say he only won because of the Mercedes. It's unfair to Verstappen to say it because of the Red Bull. It's unfair to Lando last year to say it was only the McLaren. Blah 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 blah. And it is now unfair to just say, yes, he is in a good position because that car is incredibly quick, but you can't just say it's just the car. The way when he was having paddle issues today, and let's be honest, whether Lando will go down as one of the greatest world champions of all time or not, that's irrelevant. He's a world champion, and he was following him. Kimi Antonelli is like 6 years old.
Well, he's lucky it's a bank holiday. He doesn't go to school in England. I was going to say it's lucky it's a bank holiday tomorrow, because he is going to be grumpy at school tomorrow.
He is. Drop off. Yeah, but I mean, like I say, for a 5-year-old to win, And I thought, I don't really think at any point, it almost felt like every time Lando closed that gap and you thought, oh, here we go, we might have a little bit of a fight.
I'm going to stretch it a bit.
Yeah, exactly. He just sort of swatted him away as if, no, I'm not interested in a fight. I want to win this. He's been impressive so far this year, but that was probably, I think that was maybe his most impressive win, because it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes in as much as McLaren and Ferrari and Red Bull all bought upgrades here, and Mercedes still won. I think it speaks volumes that it isn't just a case of now your car's well better than everybody else's, and therefore, look, George Russell got stuck up in some fights with Piastri, with Leclerc, with Verstappen. Antonelli didn't get involved. Yeah, himself. Antonelli didn't get involved in any of those fights. And it was always, and fair play to him. I thought, I was really, really impressed with him today. We wondered, I know they mentioned it in commentary a few times, how was he going to cope with the pressure of not racing for a while and all that sort of stuff and winning the World Championship. He's not even bothered. It's not phasing him. I'm really impressed with him at the minute.
What got me, and just to follow on from your point, because I completely agree with everything you said, is if you're going to lose points, lose them where it doesn't matter much. The sprint race. He made a couple of errors. Yeah. He nailed it for qualifying and the actual race. And secondly, is Bono one of the greatest race engineers that we know? Because the way he just... Brundle called out in commentary, my tyres are going, I'm losing my rear tyres already. And then as soon as Bono went, just the temps, mate.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's a nice way of going, cool them down. Let's calm it down, And he needs that. Like you say, he's only 4. When he has a pit stop, they have to change his nappy and give him a bottle and burp. So
they do well to do that in 2.4 seconds. But actually, to be fair as well, even the pit stops today, it was just everything was just so cool. It was, I know that wasn't him who did the pit stop, but just getting the position back from Norris, I'm really impressed.
Oh, it was massive. And let's be honest, and this is a shout out to Mercedes, where every other team had a bit of an issue with pit stops, so it felt.
Yeah.
They were just typical Mercedes one. It was just thorough. There you go, in, out, give him a rub, make sure he wins himself. Off you go. Fantastic from Antonelli. Genuinely, he has saved me from having to buy a George Russell cap at this rate.
I think he will. Yeah, I think he will, actually, to be fair. The name of the episode is McLaren's Miami Revival. So let's just give a quick shout to them. This is one thing that's been quite consistent, and with Andrea Stella's McLaren at least, that if they're not winning, it doesn't take long for them to come up with the sort of right packages and the right thing. I know they didn't win today, but I think Lando's right to be disappointed. I think they will feel like they should have won, especially after that. I think they had better race pace than Mercedes, but again, as we said a minute ago, Antonelli just managed it so well. So I think Norris has every right to be disappointed that they didn't get the win. But you consider that McLaren didn't start the season very well. I mean, like I say, not even starting some races. To get a 2-3 today, double podium, whatever else. Yes, I know Leclerc driving into the wall helped Piastri somewhat. But, good to see. And one thing I did actually like, and again, of course, a McLaren fan will say this, but it's nice that Red Bull, Ferrari and McLaren all bridged that gap. Yes, a Mercedes still won today. But there was a point during the race where you thought the podium was going to be 3 different teams.
To be fair, and you're right to point that out, I think a lot of the fact Mercedes won today was Antonelli excellence and the efficiency of the Mercedes pit crew rather than the car.
Yeah.
They're all on a very equal level and they've all got different strengths. The Ferrari is a rocket ship off the line. If the Ferrari can hold on to you long enough, they're going to be difficult to race.
Yeah.
But that's the same issue we've seen all the way through. Now, the problem is Ferrari have now got faster, but still have that detrimental issue that the tyres drop off. So they're always going to start dropping back. But the fact that they're staying up there longer or faster or they're ahead, that's a step. McLaren have dragged themselves right up to the very front of the grid as well. And Verstappen has now got a car he's comfortable with, so be careful. In no way am I saying Antonelli's won the championship, is what I'm saying.
No, 100%. But I think he's certainly favourite. I agree. He's certainly favourite at the minute. But no, it's not done. I'm going to allow you to finish this episode because you started this episode in such eloquent and well put and very well spoken words regarding Alex Zanardi. I'm now going to anticipate you will not do that, because this is the very, very first installment of Phil's George Russell Corner. Go on.
Get comfy, people. No. What I will say is we have a VFL group, okay, and you know where I'm going with this. And we text each other during the races, and even Dave agreed with me today. The point I've been making all along, and if you remember a few races back, I said stop whining. Okay, today he took it to a new level. Okay. He blamed someone on the pit wall for him getting the wrong strap level for the restart. Now, I know they've got months, decades of data that they control through instantly on the pit wall, but you're still the one with the steering wheel. Notice it quicker. Yeah. Do something different. Just like when Hamilton had his magic braking on that the Mercedes had, if you remember, in Azerbaijan, and he locked up going into the first turn. That was a driver error. Regardless of whether you think someone should tell you or not, you're responsible for this car. He just moaned. He moaned constantly. What he's done is wait his entire career for a good car, and he's getting slapped around by a toddler. Okay?
He was 3 years old.
He was 3 years old. So I get why he's upset, but I'm bored of hearing him now. Genuinely bored of hearing him.
I agree. I
could carry on. He's making mistakes, and he's being shown up at the moment.
Yeah, Dave's comment was right, that he's like the kid who would take the ball home if his team's not winning.
I was going to say, don't get me wrong, I back that all the greats have got a whiny streak to them.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of them, okay? I'm not so there's maybe a chance he could be great. And there's a chance that he could just be a whinger. And today, he's just annoyed me, he's whinging. Leclerc had a whinge, so it's not that no one does.
Oh, no, you're right. There's so many that do. I suppose the point being with George Russell is you can't whinge when your team's won every race this season other than the sprint at Miami yesterday. And I'm sorry, there isn't a great deal to whinge about there. Yes, you might have the odd problems and whatever else, but no, sorry, you're right. This should have been, I'm with you actually, this should have been his moment to sit there and go, I lead this team now. Lewis is gone. Lewis is a thing of the past. I now have a 1-year-old teammate. I'm going to lead this team. I'm going to prove to Toto Wolff that he was right to keep me, right to take me, all that sort of stuff. And what's actually happening is Kimi Antonelli's beating him. And I know we keep joking about Kimi Antonelli's age. The famous phrase in football is if you're good enough, you're old enough. And it's the same thing. I mean, agree. Yeah. It doesn't matter that he's 19, all joking aside, it doesn't matter. First teenagers to lead the World Championship, all that sort of stuff does not matter. At the moment, though, he is, like you said, battering George Russell. And Russell, this World Championship will not be his. I'm not saying it's already Antonelli's, but there's already a chance that Norris, Piastri, Leclerc, Verstappen, like you said, all these people are going to start. He's lucky to get 12 points today and not just 8.
Yeah.
And that's nothing he did.
No, it's because Verstappen's tyres fell off the cliff and it looked like Leclerc's did, and Leclerc made a hash of it. We don't know yet. It could have been a car issue. I'm not judging. But he's fluked a few points here. Yeah. I don't think Antonelli's fluked many points this year.
And the simple fact that, like you said, two of his rivals, so Verstappen, obviously, tyres had gone, and Leclerc, obviously, again, we don't know the reason why, but that happened. So, in theory, it should be Russell, the man who's then getting third. But he's not. He's still not.
What I will say as well is Piastri was poor this weekend.
Yeah, oh yeah.
By his own standards.
Yeah.
You'd have expected Russell to have picked him off.
Yeah.
The fact that Hamilton, with 10 to 15 points of downforce, did they say, losing half a second a lap, so Ferrari reported. No, I'm not saying their official stats. They could be making him feel a bit better. We know Ferrari and telemetry and working on the pit wall seems to not be very good. But I'd even say Hamilton clung on to him for too long after the restart. Yeah. Drop him, leave him for dead. And we know Russell's fast. We know Russell's
Everybody
good,
else did.
And that's what's annoying me. Go and beat people. Go and smash them out of the park. I wouldn't be complaining if he battered everyone all season.
No, and he should
because he deserved it. Yeah, And what it was, and we said this at the very start, is that this was his year to come in to the sport. You know, we had a due date for Antonelli, but he wasn't born yet. And to make it his own. And, slight side point, can we stop Toto Wolff from going on about how Kimi Antonelli shouldn't have been picked? He seems to refer to the same line that someone said about Antonelli whenever Antonelli does well, on the team radio. Oh, they said you shouldn't be here. Oh, they said you're too young. They said you'd make mistakes. Well, he did. Yeah. He got a time penalty in the sprint race. Yes, he's still making mistakes.
Stop reminding him of those things.
Yeah. Shut up. Just say, Christ, mate, that was good.
Yeah, well done.
What sort of reverse psychology is this? Everyone hates you.
Anyway,
that's it. Everyone really likes you. Anyway, sorry.
Sorry, I knew I could feel another rant coming. That is it for this week. We're only going to try and keep this as a relatively short one. And we didn't mention all the liveries, the stupid liveries, because I'm bored of it now. I'm not even going to bring them up. I'm just bored of talking about it. We will be here next week. I won't be here next week because I'm away. So I'm trusting you guys to do something. And I don't know what you want to do. But I am in sunny Prague next weekend. So I unfortunately will not be with you. We don't have to talk about it now. Go on, what are you going to say?
I might do an Alex Zanardi tribute.
That would be good, actually. Yeah, so stick around because now you said it on YouTube, Phil, so you kind of have to do an Alex Zanardi tribute.
I will.
Next week. So that is it for us this week. Miami was okay. It was better than Miami's been in the past, but it was worse than we've had so far this season. I still consider that a bit of a step up from Miami. Until next time, we will do Ant versus Phil a bit closer to the time for Canada. It is 3-1. If you watch the last video, Phil did take the win because we just forgot to do it. So it is 3-1 to me. And that is it. So Phil with an Alex Zanardi tribute next week, and we will be back together the following week. But up until then, from us,
bye now.